Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we are going to see IMSDB basic interview questions part 2. Let's move on to the first question. How an IMS job runs? An IMS job cannot be run like a normal COBOL program where we give PGM equal to program name in a JCL. Okay, here we need to execute a region control program by name DFSRR C00, and we are going to pass our application program and PSB name as parameters. Okay, this is the pictorial diagram of how a program works. So here the operating system. Okay, operating system operates the hardware. It's a ZOS. Under ZOS, we are going to execute our JCL. We are going to submit our JCL. When you submit our JCL, we are going to execute which program? DFSRR C00. In this program, we are going to pass three important parameters. The first parameter is type of processing, which can be either DLI, BMP, or MSG or MPP. Okay, if it's a batch backward program, we pass DBB. Okay, normally for application program we use DLI or BMP, and the second parameter will be the application program name, and the third parameter will be PSB name. Okay, when the entry statement is executed by the program, by the operating system, the program and database, IMS database, are connected via DLI modules. So DLI modules are system programs. When it is connected, connection means what? The address of the database is passed to the program, so the program can access the database. How it is passed? Through the PSB. Okay, through the PCB mask in PSB. And now once the connection has happened, we can issue the calls. Call COBOL to DLI using get, insert, replace, delete. The calls whichever has been issued in the program goes to program request handler, and in turn goes to call analyzer. All these are system programs. Call analyzer is going to see whether it's just a read call or a insert, replace, delete call. If it's a read call, meaning get call, it sends a request to DLI module, and DLI module in turn access the data from database via access method. Okay, remember access method determines how we are going to visualize the data. Data can be stored in any manner. It's going to be stored in plain EBCDIC format, but how are we going to visualize? In hierarchical fashion. Okay, access method will be in front of the database. And if the call is an insert, replace, or delete call, the control goes to logging facility also, which will be logging the data. So it will be used for batch backward process. So whenever there's a transaction fails, okay, in online, or when an event happens in job, okay, these IMS log files will be used for recovering the database or maintaining the data integrity of database. Okay, let's move on to the next. So let me read this. An IMS job will run under region control program DFSRR C00. Processing type for a batch could be either DLI or BMP. DLI stands for data language interface. BMP stands for batch message processing. So it will be separated as a first parameter. Second parameter will be program name, and third parameter will be PSB name. Okay, program starts executing line by line. In the entry statement, address of database will be passed to program via PCBs. Okay, when COBOL to DLI statement is executed, control goes to program request handler and then to call analyzer. Call analyzer analyzes call and call DLI modules for the IMSDB service. For update calls, insert, replace, delete, log files also will be updated because it is used for recovery whenever there's an event in transaction or in a job also. Once the program completes successfully, control goes back to the region control program. Okay, we have to send the control back. That's the reason we use go back. We don't use stop run in IMS jobs. Okay, because the stop run will be stopping the unit of work. Okay, but while a go back sends control back to the region control program. Okay, and then once the region control program has executed successfully, it sends control back to the operating system. What are the DLI modules? So DLI modules are a set of system program which acts as an interface between a program and IMS database. Okay, it is going to be the connection. So it is going to be connected in the entry statement, and in the call statement, in the call COBOL to DLI statement, DLI module is going to analyze the call and it's going to serve the request. Okay, serve the request of the call. DLI modules acts as an interface between program and PSB to serve call request. It establishes connectivity between the program and the database and assists program in transferring data to and from database. Let's move to the next question. What does an entry statement do? Already we have seen this. An entry statement is the very first statement in the program. Okay, we say entry DLI to COBOL. So DLI is coming to COBOL. Okay, database is getting attached to the program via DLI modules through PCBs. It's the very first statement. Okay, it contains PCB mask. All the PCB masks are listed in linkage section. PCB mask is nothing but DLI communication area. Okay, so once the connection is established, we can access the data in database. So this statement is the first executable statement in program. It establishes connectivity between program and database. Address of database are passed to the program when this statement is executed by the operating system. So instead of entry statement, we can also write procedure division using statement. Okay, why can we write? Because a program, an IMS program, is running as a sub program to the region control program. Okay, either one of these can be used. What are the parameters of call statement? There are 5 parameters for a call statement. Okay, the number of parameters, call COBOL to DLI using a number of parameters. We say is PAM count, followed by function code, which is a 4 bytes field, which tells what type of call we are going to give, whether get call, insert, replace or delete. Third will be IO area, only one IO area for every call. And then SSA. SSA is optional. That can be up to 15 SSAs. Okay, we can have one SSA for every level of IMS DB. Okay, out of these 5 parameters, the PAM count will contain the total number of parameters in the call, including PAM code. So if we give PAM count, function code, PCB mask and IO area, PAM count will be having 4 as a value. If you have SSA also, PAM count will have 5 as value. PAM count will be S9R4 comp, 2 bytes binary. Okay, it's optional in COBOL while it is mandatory in PL-BAR1 and assembler. So function code, a 4-byte function code like get next, get unique, etc. A status code which is part of PCB mask. PCB mask nothing but DLI communication area. And then IO area, which will be exactly equal to a segment length. It can be more also, but make sure it give it exactly equal to segment length. And then optionally SSA. SSA is used to search for specific segment or occurrence. Okay, PCB mask stands for DLI communication area. Okay, the PCB mask, whichever you are given in entry statement, okay, the sequence in which you are written in entry statement and the sequence of PCBs in PSB will be exactly mapped to each other. Okay, and the sequence in which you write in linkage section can be in any order. But the sequence in which you write in entry statement and the sequence of PCBs in PSB will be exactly mapped to each other. How do you identify which database a call statement is processing? It's a very important question. Okay, in a call statement we have 4 parameters: a function code, a PCB mask, IO area and SSA. The second parameter, PCB mask, will tell you which database we are accessing. Okay, so based on how, so we have to see this PCB mask in the call, okay, is in which sequence in the entry statement. Okay, suppose if it is second sequence, it's a second PCB mask in the entry statement, then it is mapped to the second PCB in PSB. Okay, second PCB in PSB. This is how we have to identify which database a call is accessing. Okay, so for DLI based on PCB mask, we need to check the sequence in entry statement and map it to sequence in DB PCBs or PSB. Okay, here I have mentioned very clearly database PCBs. There could be database TP PCBs also in online. Okay, remember for BMP, there will be an additional PC mask, which is IO PC mask, which is implied. Okay, it is present only in the program, but not in PSP. What is an SSA? SSA stands for Segment Search Argument. Okay, it's very clearly saying search for the segment. So when you are giving a get call, we are going to ask the DLA module, search for this segment. Otherwise, don't give everything back to me. Similarly, search for a specific segment occurrence. Occurrence means what? Segment name, field name compared to a value. Okay, it's a condition. We can have up to 1024 conditions. SSA is optional. It's called a segment search argument. For example, in mathematics, we write f of x. F stands for function, x for argument. Similarly, here the function is get calls. Okay, for that function, we are sending as an argument. Okay, it's optional, but it is going to make our work very simple. Okay, even though it is optional, it is going to reduce the number of calls if it is used. There are two types of SSAs: unqualified SSA and qualified SSA. In unqualified SSA will be either 9 bytes or 11 bytes. Okay, the first 8 bytes will have the segment name. The last byte will be space. Okay, if the unqualified SSA is having 11 bytes as length, the first 8 bytes will be segment type. 9th and 10th byte will be occupied by command code, and 11th byte will be a space. Okay, and a qualified SSA will have a format, a specific format, a segment name, open bracket, field name, relational operator, value, and close bracket. Okay, segment name, field name should be always 100%, 8 bytes. We can have multiple conditions connected using ampersand and or. We can have 1024 conditions. So what is user SSA? It makes call more effective as we can avoid many IO calls. If you don't use SSA, you have to scan unnecessary segment occurrence. But if you use SSA, you are going to reduce the number of IO calls. It makes program more efficient. Okay, if you give SSA in a program, we call it as a qualified call. If you don't give SSA in a program, we call it as an unqualified call. SSA is also used in insert calls. It is mandatory, in fact, and unqualified SSA is mandatory in an insert call to tell DLA model which segment we are inserting. It is rarely used in path call replace. Okay, very rarely used in path call replace, which is an advanced programming. The sample SSA is given here. It's an unqualified SSA, 9 bytes in length. First 8 bytes is occupied segment name, and last byte should be a blank. If you have any junk character in last byte, it will not work. So there are two types of SSAs as we have discussed earlier, an unqualified or a qualified. An unqualified SSA will be either 9 bytes or 11 bytes in length. It will have segment name with or without command code, and last byte will be a space. A qualified SSA will have segment name, field name compared to a value, and we can have as many conditions. We can have many conditions in qualified SSA. Okay, in qualified SSA, the 9th byte or 11th byte should be an open bracket. Okay, 11th byte means when you have 9th and 10th byte is occupied with command code, okay, you'll be having 11th byte as open bracket. What's the maximum number of SSAs a call statement can have? Okay, it depends on number of levels of IMSDB. For every level, we can have one SSA. Okay, for every level, we can have one SSA. The maximum levels technically, okay, is nothing but 15 because we can have maximum 15 levels in an IMSDB. So this is an example for a qualified SSA where we have field name, open bracket, employee segment name, open bracket, field name, relational operator, value, or close bracket. This will be 8 bytes for sure. Okay, this should be 8 bytes also. That's a mistake here. This should be 8. Okay, and this should be the exact length defined in DBD. Remember, this field should be always be 8. That's a mistake given here. So name some DLA function codes. GU stands for get unique, get hold unique, get next, get hold next. GNP stands for get next within parent, insert, replace, delete. So GU is random read. Okay, it's a sequential, and GN will be a sequential read. GNP will be a sequential read of all child occurrences under an established parent. Okay, insert will be either inserting a root occurrence or child occurrence. So replace is going to replace the held occurrence, held segment occurrence, and delete also is going to delete the held segment occurrence. We'll be seeing one by one in detail. So what does a GU call will do? It's a random processing. At any point it is going to search from the top of the database and stop when a condition matches. Condition means what? SSA matches. SSA is mandatory for, even though it's not, SSA is not mandatory, but SSA should be given. Okay, if you don't give SSA for a GU call, it is going to place the cursor in the first root occurrence of the database. If you give a qualified SSA, okay, at least a GU call should have a qualified SSA for a root segment. So a GU call is going to find a specific record. Okay, if you give multiple SSAs, the subsequent SSAs, whatever you are giving, apart from the first SSA, it is going to read within the same record. Okay, it is not going to process more than one record. Remember, a GU call will always start from the top of the database and searches in hierarchical sequence until a match happens with the SSA. If the match is found, it is going to move the data to the IO area, set the status code as spaces. If the match is not found, it is going to set a status code of GE. GE means not found. Okay, a GU call, irrespective of current cursor position, will always start from the top of the database. So it is going to read only one record. Okay, so if you have multiple SSAs, make sure at least the root segment SSA is a qualified, so that you are going to filter, pinpoint the correct record which you are looking for. So I'll get next. What does the get next will do? It's like a read sequential. It's a read like a reading a PS file. It is going, but here it's going to read in a hierarchical fashion until end of database. How do you end of database is reached? By way of status code GB. Okay, and how the cursor moves? Cursor moves in top down, front to back, and left to right. A GN can be given without an SSA, with unqualified SSA, or with qualified SSA. If you don't give an SSA, it is going to read a complete database. Okay, and you may be getting a GA or GK status code. If you give a GN call with an unqualified SSA, it is going to read only that segments which are you are interested in, which are you are given in the SSA. If you give a GN with a qualified SSA, it's like a skip sequential processing. Okay, it is going to search for the specific segment occurrence once. If it is found, okay, it is going to retrieve. If it doesn't find, it is going to give a status code GE. Okay, if it found, and if you are giving in a loop, it keeps on searching for the specific segment occurrence. Okay, GN call can be given without SSA or with unqualified or with a qualified SSA. It's a sequential read and reads in a hierarchical fashion. And it always starts from the current cursor position. Okay, it always starts from current cursor position. The very first get next will read the first root occurrence of the database. Subsequent get next is going to read from the current cursor position. Suppose your cursor is in the middle of database. If you give a get next, it is going to read from the current cursor position, which is in the middle of database. While GU always goes from the top of the database. A GN call can come with or without SSA. If it doesn't come with SSA, it reads segment occurrence in a hierarchical fashion. If it comes with an unqualified SSA, it reads only occurrences of those segment types mentioned in SSA. Okay, so we also give GN with a qualified SSA. It's like a skip sequential. Suppose your cursor is in the middle of database, and whatever you're searching for, the record which is near to that current record, we give GN with qualified. Okay, we don't give a GU with qualified, because a GU with qualified will always start from the top of the database, while GN with qualified will start from the current cursor position. So this is more efficient when compared to a GU with a qualified. A GN call without SSA or an unqualified SSA is commonly used. Okay, and do a sequential read, and when it reaches end of database, we get GB. Okay, GN call without SSA we can't say it's commonly used. It's a database dump. Okay, it's a database sweep program. So what does the insert call will do? An insert, we are going to insert only one occurrence at a time because that is the minimum unit of IO transfer. Okay, we can insert a root or we can insert a complete record. A record is nothing but one root and all its children. We can insert only child. So if you are going to insert a root, it doesn't matter. You can insert any number of times. If you are going to insert a record, you have to make sure you are inserting in a hierarchical fashion. You have to insert a parent first, then child next, in top down, front to back, and left to right sequence. But if you are inserting a child occurrence, you have to make sure we place the cursor in the parent of the child, corresponding child. Meaning you have to set parentage. You have to set parentage either with a GU or a GN call and then insert a child. Okay, anyway, it makes sense. You can't insert a child anywhere. So you have to make sure keep the cursor in the parent and then insert a child. If there's a duplicate, segment occurrence, it will give a status code of II, double I. So you have to check for double I for duplicate key. Okay, and inserting a database using processing option LS, you'll be getting LBS status code. Okay, when you're inserting a duplicate key. Okay, duplicate key. So for an insert call, if it's a complete record, meaning full record from root and all children, we can insert in a hierarchical fashion. For an insert call, if it's a child occurrence alone, so we need to set the cursor in parent. Okay, meaning you are going to set parentage using GU or GN call. And then insert with the unqualified SSA. Remember, insert always should have unqualified SSA for sure, because it is to tell the system, tell the DLA module, which segment type we are inserting. IX, if you get IX, you are trying to insert in a wrong place, incorrect place. Okay, if you don't place the cursor in the parent, in the corresponding parent, and you are trying to insert a different child, you'll be getting IX. What does the PC mask contains? Okay, PC mask is nothing but a DLA communication area. Every PCB in PSB should have PC mask coded in linkage section. It should also be given in entry statement. The sequence in which you write PCB mask in entry statement and the sequence of the PCBs in PSB will be exactly mapped to each other. PCB mask in linkage section can be in any order. It contains DBD name, segment name, processing option, key feedback area, status code, etc. Let's see what are the fields it contains. After every call statement, DLA module will be filling this PCB mask. Okay, and we are going to check the status code after the call. It contains these fields. Key feedback area can be used, okay, very rarely. In case if the call doesn't work, okay, the SSA doesn't find a match, then we see a key feedback area and understand how far the cursor has come. What is a qualified call? A qualified call is nothing but a call with a SSA. Very simple. SSA could be an unqualified or qualified, doesn't matter. If you have a call with an SSA, it's a qualified call. Then what is an unqualified call? An unqualified call, okay, is a call without an SSA. Okay. And what is a fully qualified call? A call with all the SSAs as qualified. Okay, it's a fully qualified call. Suppose you have 5 SSAs in your call. If all the 5 SSAs are qualified, then we say a call statement as a fully qualified call. When do you get a GA or GK status code? Okay, when you give a get next call without any SSA, we get GA or GK. GA means when the cursor moves up one level, we get GA. And when the cursor moves within siblings in the same level, we get GK. Remember, a GA or GK will come only if we give a GN call without any SSA. Okay, it's a database sweep program. Okay, you get a GA when the cursor moves up one level. We get GK when the cursor moves from one segment to another segment in the same level. But if you give SSA, these will not come. When do you get LB status code? I already told you. If you use processing option L or LS and you're loading database for the first time, okay, it is being done by administrator only. if you get a duplicate segment occurrence, you'll be getting LB status code. When do you get a GP status code? It's quite common. When you don't establish parentage and you are trying to give a GNP call, it will fail with a GP status code. Okay, a GNP call requires a parentage to be set. Okay, the parentage is a prerequisite of a GNP call, and you have to set parentage via a GU or a GN call. What is a parentage and how do you set? As I told you earlier, we can use GU or GN call to set parentage. Okay, wherever the cursor is present in that segment occurrence, a parentage will be set. Okay, it's a flag. It's a flag. And which calls require a parentage? And inserting a child requires a parentage, and giving a GNP call also requires a parentage. And apart from giving a GU or GN call to set parentage, okay, we can also use command code P to set parentage. Okay, command code P is set to use set parentage on a higher level rather than lower level. Suppose if you have 5 SSAs in your call, okay, the cursor will be in the lowest level segment. Assuming the call is successful, then fifth segment, the segment in the fifth level is the place where parentage will be set. So in order to give a GNP call, we need to set parentage first and then give a GNP call. If we don't set parentage, you'll get GP status code. To set parentage, we give a GU or a GN call. When you give many SSAs in a call, remember, by default, cursor will be in the lowest level segment. Okay, parentage is set only in the lowest level segment if you have multiple SSAs. And we can also set parentage using command code *P, okay, in a call. And command code is used in 9th and 10th position in an unqualified or a qualified SSA. So when a GU or GN call is issued, by default parentage is set. Okay, when we give many SSAs in call, by default cursor will be in the lowest level segment. Okay, it's a duplicate. When do you get an AC or AJ status code? So when there's a problem in SSA, you'll be getting AC or AJ. It could be either because of the segment name, it could be because of length of the segment also. Okay, any problem in the length, okay, it should have proper length. For example, we take qualified SSA, segment name should be 8 bytes, field name should be 8 bytes, open bracket, relational operator, everything should be properly coded in a proper sequence. When do you get AK status code? When you have a problem in your field name, in your incorrect field name, when you have the incorrect length of the field name, you'll be getting AK status code. So these are some common status code you will be getting during development. When do you get DJ or DA status code? So you'll be getting DJ when you don't give a whole call and you are trying to replace or delete. A whole call is must for a replace or delete. A whole call can be either GHU or GHN or a GHNP. If you don't give a whole call, you're not locking the segment occurrence and you're trying to replace or delete, you'll be getting DJ. Okay, when you're trying to do a replace, if you're disturbing the key value, okay, it could be a primary key or it could be a constraint in a segment, child segment also, you'll be getting DA status code. Okay, no whole call is issued before replace or delete, will be giving a DJ. A replace call is trying to change the key field, you'll be getting DA. What is a path call? It's a very important call. A path call is nothing but retrieving the segment occurrence of the entire path. We already saw hierarchy path in the last video. Okay, hierarchical path is nothing but it starts from the root, goes all the way down to a lowest level segment. We can retrieve the entire path data in the IO area, and this is the only call in which we can retrieve the entire path. For a path call to work, you have to give a command code D, okay, in 10th position. Okay, you can give *D in 9th and 10th position in an unqualified or qualified SSA. So suppose if you are in a call statement, there are 3 SSAs. By default, the lowest level SSA data will be in IO area. Only the level 1, level 2 data will not be there. Okay, so in order to retrieve level 1, level 2 data, we give *D in level 1 and level 2. Okay, we give *D in level 1, level 2 SSA. If you give *D in level 1, level 2 SSA, So all the 3 SSA data will be in IO area. So make sure IO area is big, okay, big enough to hold all the 3 data. Okay, and suppose you give one start D in only level 1, okay, and there are 3 SSAs. So level 1 data will be there, and then the level 3 data will be in IO area. And for path call to work, okay, path call to work, you should have a processing option P, okay, combined along with G or A in your PSB. If you don't have GP or AP processing option, you are going to get a status code AM while executing. Okay, in a path call, we get data in IO area for the entire path of SSA, which we provide in the call. If you don't provide the path call, if you don't use path call by using command code D, okay, only the lowest level segment data will be in IO area. And for path call to work, you should have a processing option P, otherwise you'll be getting AM status code. Let's see some more command codes. P for setting a parentage on a higher level rather than lower level, because by default parentage will be set in lower level. A null command code can be used for reserving the command code space, so that you can move the command code, use the space and move whatever command code you want in the procedure division dynamically. Okay, F to get the first occurrence, L for last. For example, by default you are going to get first occurrence, okay, but if you are going to insert first, you can use F, okay, because the insert always insert at the end. Okay, F and L will not work for root segment, it will only work for child segment. And again, there are some restrictions based on the access method, and there are some restrictions based on the key. If you have sequence and unique or sequence in your child segment, okay, it is going to follow the same rules. It will not violate the rules when you are inserting. Okay, L for widely used for get in the get call, so it will quickly go to the last occurrence. And C for concatenated key. Okay, this call will be replacing a series of calls. And that's we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel, you can comment and share the video. Thank you.